it says we are.
We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Grace Period. I have a special guest on this evening. We have Jessica Daniel. She is a third grade teacher in Ackworth Elementary. And we're going to be talking all things schools, digital learning, all the challenges and the really great things that have come out of this very interesting time that we're going through with COVID-19. And with me tonight also are the co-host Tia Green with Libe PR and Savor TV, and Lauren Press, our photographer, with Lauren Liz Photo. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Jessica.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here.
And it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And I guess that is nationwide. So, make sure to thank those teachers. I have always been thankful for teachers, but I am even more thankful
Oh my goodness.
for you guys, because how do you do it?
Yes. Back before we thought that we might not that we might go back to school, it was like 1 week and I was like, whenever school gets back, whatever day that is, it will be Teacher Appreciation Day. So I just feel like every day it's just like, oh my goodness, like how but this times 20. So
Yes.
Amazing.
But the kids are so different at home than they are at school.
Yeah.
Even my children, the first days of school, I always tell their teachers, I'm like, okay, Peyton, my oldest, she's really shy and she might not, talk to you. And then I'll tell my son, he's very hyperactive. I never, ever get those complaints. They're like, are you sure they're the right?
Yeah.
I promise you.
They all
and it's
say
totally
that
opposite.
They all say that about Bella. She's wonderful. You have such a wonderful child. Like, in the classroom.
That's how we would want it. Yep. That's how we would want it. We would rather them act up at home than at school.
Yeah. Do you see a difference generally, from at the beginning of the year and how a child is in the class, and then towards the very end when they've gotten very comfortable with you and your everything?
Absolutely. And that's why at the beginning of the school year, of course we all, get so excited and we, create our room and it's supposed to be magical. And I just want to hug every single one of them and love on them. But even those first few days, I was always taught you're that strict teacher in August and you come in roaring like a lion. And then after February break, Valentine's Day, March, that's when you can start being the lamb, because you give them 1 inch and they just run with it. And I never understood it as a student myself. And even going into college as a teacher, and our professors were like, Jessica, classroom management is the biggest struggle. You have to, consistency. And I'm like, no, I'm going to love on those babies. But the minute that oh no. So, but absolutely, because in the beginning, they're shy. They're trying to test the waters.
Yeah.
But for the most part, as long as, it's consistency from August to May, their behaviors don't change drastically. It's a change, but it's not drastic.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. So tell us some things, what have you been experiencing with these digital learning days, and, what's your schedule been like? How does it work out with your students? Do you have a lot of one-on-ones with them? How's it working out for you?
So Thursday, March the 12th, we got, we all got a mass text message and email saying that we were going to start digitally. So we still went to school that Friday, the 13th. And that whole day, we didn't know if we were going to be out a week, 2 weeks, a month. So, the principal, let the teachers put on movies, in the classroom, and we made packets and we packed up their book bags. And it was just such a rush day. And looking back, I'm like, I wish that we wouldn't have spent so much time, packing up and rushing, because that was our last day with them. We won't get a end of the year party, but at first we were told to, just answer questions and emails, that first week, because we didn't know, and things were changing almost every day for us. And then after, Governor Kemp put the state shelter in place, we went strictly digital, and we were doing, so I'm a co-teacher. I'm a special education teacher, and my partner and I, Miss Chafin, we're together throughout the whole day. We teach all subject areas. And we do 2 class Zooms a week, and we teach math for 45 minutes, and then we'll teach reading for 45 minutes. But as a special ed teacher, I have those legal documents. So I have to work with those students one-on-one, and I have to provide, assistance daily if needed. And we have to document. But honestly, in the beginning, and I was telling Tia earlier, I was so bitter. Like, I was just angry. I can't do this. I have 3 children of my own. My house isn't big enough for me to, be a teacher and a parent. So I was just bitter. But all of a sudden I had a come to Jesus meeting, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm either going to have to embrace this and make the best of it. So I started every morning getting up at 7:30, and I would have my children, because my 9-year-old and 11-year-old, they're in school. So their teachers would email me, and I would print their stuff because, I'm on my computer, and we have another computer, but it glitches or whatever. So they would be on there doing their schoolwork down in the basement, and I would print it, and I would have a schedule for them, but I was up here and I do my Zooms. And in the beginning, I was so scared, and I'm like, don't come in the door, and I have a student on Zoom. But now the kids will come up to me and, Mama, we're hungry. We want something to eat. The students are just like, Miss Daniel, is that Peyton, your daughter?
Oh,
Now it's become the norm. But in the beginning, it was so challenging, and the parents were frustrated because us being a Title I school, we didn't really have a lot of parents with technology, or if they had technology, it was just their phone. So we had to switch our electronic system to where they could do it on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
then Cobb County, they actually provided computers for some families. So that helped, in the beginning. But for the most part, it's kept us on our toes. And I think that the respect for the parents has really shown, because some of our parents, they come into Zoom as children, and the parents are just like, thank you so much for what you do every single day. Like, we cannot do what you do every day.
Yeah.
So I think the appreciation has been something extremely positive that has come out of this.
Yeah, for
I-
sure.
I just have to say that I do commend all teachers. I always have, because like you mentioned before, you're with the students more than the parents are every day.
Right.
Monday through Friday, 8
No,
Oh no, she's froze.
Yes.
hours a day. And do you feel like, have you been giving any of the parents tips?
So I heard half that question.
Do you give any of the parents any tips?
Well, some of my parents, they have reached out to me and they're like, what do you do? And we have a calm down area in our classroom. And it has fidget toys and I mean, just small things that I didn't even realize, as an adult, the deep breathing. But I have multiple parents that they'll email me and they're like, how do you do this? My child cannot, grasp time or cannot grasp, and so behaviorally, I've given them, strategies and things that they can do. But honestly, with one parent, I told her, I'm like, right now, the biggest struggle is you make sure that those kids are reading and doing some sort of math daily. And the rest, we're going to figure it out because we're all going to have that gap. And this is such a learning curve for us. But absolutely. I had one child, he actually sent me a picture because he has a schedule in my classroom and he'll manipulate it. He takes, the stickers off or whatever. And he has on there like 9 a.m. my reading, 10 a.m. math. And his mom took a picture of it and she said, Miss Daniel, what? Like, I never thought that just writing down our day would affect him so much. But she said that it would just give him anxiety. Okay, what do I have next? What do I need to do next? And I'm like, oh, absolutely. Even as
that is such an interesting thing how kids like to just know. My son would keep asking me, okay, mom, like what else? Like, okay, well, we have this math. What else do we have today? And I'm like, well, it's all on the it's all on the thing we'll do. He's like, no, but can you just tell me so I know what we have? I'm like,
it needs
okay,
structure.
yes, we have. Yeah,
Right.
so it's like they just want to know what's coming.
Yes, and I think it's because in the classroom there's such structure, and this is all out of norm to them. So, and that's one of the tips that I've told the parents. I'm like, if you could keep some sort of structure, and I know that some parents that have multiple children, so that's not always easy, but even for my kiddos, I'm like, look, we'll do schoolwork from 9 to 2 and then we'll go outside, and then at 5:30 it's like dinner time and let's chill time. So we try to keep some form of structure as well. But absolutely, and you don't realize it, but kids crave that.
They do. They're not going to tell you they like it, but
right,
they absolutely need it. So
yeah, what you said a while back about that stress of like wanting to make sure your kids don't come in the room when you're with a student and all of that. I feel like have that slowly, like everybody started out that way, wanting so much formality and so to be so careful about this, and that's gradually sort of eased off with most people, and I really like that. I feel like it's so much more like it's where we don't need the pretense, right? Like we're all just trying to do our best, and I feel like we can show up a little easier when it's like, yeah, I'm here and with your student, and yes, my like I had a Zoom meeting this week, and my son was literally like right off camera with this, like he had like basically mashed up like 3 different toys together, and he was just dying to show me. I'm like trying to pay attention, but he's right here like, Mom. I mean, he's like on me for 5 minutes. Like, why am I wasting my time? And I was like, can you give me 1 second? I'm like, yes, honey. And then she was like, it's okay, I've got mine too. So he shows me and he shows her who I'm meeting with. And I was like,
I love it.
That's where we are.
That's where some of my meetings have been. And Lucas will come in the office, even if I locked the office. He will unlock it and come in, and he comes and he just climbs on my chair. And my coworkers are like, "Hi, Lucas."
I think they love that though. They love that, like, I'm in your world.
Yes. Well, I don't know if y'all are familiar with IEP meetings, but I was doing an IEP meeting, and those are legal documents, and we have to go through all the protocol of that. And the parent, he was like, excuse me, I am so sorry, but my dog just got out of the fence. I have to go get the dog. And I'm like, it's okay.
You're
Like
at home.
it's
What do you
life,
do?
there's nothing. So
Yeah.
I just stopped the meeting and we were just talking to his kids in the background. And I mean, like you said, I don't want to say it's our new norm, but right now,
It's
it is our norm.
the grace
Yeah.
that we have to, we have to give ourselves grace that you can't be, that 100% professional, perfect, you know,
Absolutely.
it's not in this
Yep.
sense. I mean, this is so foreign for everybody.
Right. And I thought about it whenever I was telling y'all that I had sort of, like my little come to Jesus meeting or whatever. Our spring break was April 4th through 8th, I think.
Yeah.
It was right before then. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to shelter in place. And I'm going to be that person that everybody's talking about. And this is just crazy. And, I want to go back to work. And finally I was like, wait a minute, Jessica, it's not all about you. Let's really enjoy it. So the next week, spring break, I started Pinteresting, and I did every single day. I had a theme for my kiddos. We weren't in school, so I was able to do it. And like one day it was outdoor day, and we went hiking. And we had like a scavenger hunt, and then we played sports outside. Then the next day I set up our living room. It was like a beach, and we watched Dolphin Tales, or I can't remember what we watched. And I mean, each day, and the kids were like, Mama, like, thank you for, taking the time to do that. But I tried to tell them, I'm like, baby, this is just as much stressful on them, as it is us. They don't know, they're like, can we just go to Brewster's and get some ice cream? And I'm like, no, baby, we can't,
Yeah.
That was hard. I did for that spring break week. I took 2 days off. I told work, I was like, I just can't. I've got to give my kids some quality time. So I took those 2 days and I did what they wanted to do. I had done a couple of Pinterest ideas, and I did an indoor scavenger hunt, which the kids loved. And honestly, the whole scavenger hunt, like Bella was the reader. She read all of the clues to her brother, and I'm like, look, I got her to read.
Yep.
Like,
There you go. Yes.
And then we went outside and did chalk drawings, and it was nice to have some like really good quality one-on-one time. We don't have anywhere to be.
Right.
And we're being creative, trying to figure stuff out to do. But it was hard because a lot of the kids in the neighborhood were playing in their own yards, and my kids were like, I want to go play with so and so. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Right. No, I get that. I think this is so off on another, I don't know where this came from, but it's a good point. I think the biggest struggle now with parents is that they're having to teach their kids the Common Core way of learning. And they're like, can I just teach my kids 5 + 5 is 10? And so we've had to tell them, if that is how your child can get the answer right now, then you're working with them. And I think that's the biggest frustration, because even me, I mean, I wasn't taught this way, especially with math. And social studies reading, it's, but the math, they're like, what? When have you used a number line to add or subtract?
Oh my goodness.
To carry that one.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because of like helping my son do stuff, and he was like, Mom, that's not how we do it. And I'm like, if you don't remember how it is, that I don't know how else to explain it to you, honey.
Right.
We're getting the same answer. And at this point, like, I think that the point is to show that you worked through it some way.
Yeah.
And you got the right answer. And this is where we're at.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what else.
Yes.
And but that is the challenge. It's not so much being able to like review their work and see where they're struggling, but to figure out how to explain to them the way to think through it so that they can then do it themselves. So
Right.
My struggle with this is, so my son has he struggles with writing. So he, like, you could, I always said it this way, we were moving toward, before he was on IEP program or 504 plan, he the only way to how to explain it was he could talk to you for an hour about the Boston Tea Party. He could read about it. He could explain it to you, talk your ear off. He cannot write you a paragraph about it. Like he could tell you all that. He knows it. It's just communicating it in writing.
Yeah.
So trying to work with him on how to translate all the thought. He has so many thoughts about it and translating it into writing. Like that is it. I mean, I guess that's like the art of teaching, right? To be able to like help them think about it the way they need to think about it to do the thing they have to do.
Right.
Oh, that is so
Absolutely.
hard.
And to that point, I wanted to make sure that I was teaching it the way that they're supposed to be learning it, you know, and I'm just like, I'm not sure if how I'm explaining this is how your teachers would explain it to you. I'm really sorry, but this is the only way I know how to.
Right.
So, and yeah.
Well,
There-
that's why, you know, for us, our third grade, we try to send, or we do send a video on Sunday nights.
That's helpful for parents
Right,
to kind of get it
everything
in
they're
their head
gonna-
first.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
And
Yeah,
some
do.
parents, did you watch the video?
And it's like,
Oh,
I
you
forgot
sent a video?
Daniel.
I'm like, yes, we sent you a video on how to do that. And they're like, oh.
Gabriel's math
Fully
teacher has
prepared.
done that for a few things. I was a little out of the loop for a while on because it was like he switches teachers for math. And so I guess wasn't on the right email list for that. So when I finally, you know, got synced up, and then I was realizing, okay, for this week's, like whatever that week's math stuff was, she would have links to, like, she went over the problems. I was like, oh my goodness, thank you. Because that is, if I can listen to it with you, then even if you still don't get it, I've heard it. I can now, like, work through it with you. That is
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
gold.
it takes a village. I mean, it really does. You know,
Yeah.
It does.
Yes, it does. Oh my goodness.
Now
I
So
look.
how has-
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I
Yeah, go-
commit, like, I so appreciate stay-at-home moms because after this, I have started appreciating stay-at-home moms. Like, they don't just stay at home.
No.
No.
Like,
All the
oh
things.
my goodness, it's more than just, and I'm like, wow. I think the appreciation for even the small things has really opened my eyes for some things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's like you're not only the breakfast and lunch lady, but you're, you know, doing your job. You know, you're the camp counselor trying to do all the activities and the teacher.
Right?
And squelch the disagreements.
Yes, referee.
Yes. And then if you lock the door to your bedroom and you're in a Zoom call and it's a faculty meeting at that, and you hear something knock at the door, and I'm like, it's locked for a reason.
Ella just actually did that. I had the door locked and she was banging on it, and that's why I had it on mute. But she wanted to come say hello. It's okay. No, she's gonna be shy now, of course. But anyway, so
Gabriel had a class Zoom, and I had, like, he was talking. It's, you know, it was mostly like for all the kids to sort of catch up with each other. And his teacher had said something, and I kind of popped on and was like, "Oh, thank you so much about this." And he was like, "Mom, oh my goodness, you're so embarrassing on my Zoom." I was like, "Where was this attitude yesterday during my Zoom meeting? Like, I
Yeah,
can't
right?
say something in yours."
That's
I mean,
right.
seriously, you would have thought that I told the whole class like his sleeping pattern or something. I don't know. Like, it was just weird how just saying something nice to his teacher, he was like humiliated by my
And
presence.
your son's in 4th grade, you said?
Fifth.
Fifth.
So he's right at that age to really be embarrassed by mom.
Oh yeah, I have a daughter in 5th grade, and she's just like, she was doing an interview to try to get into some middle school program, and she was like, "Mama, I want you in here with me, but I don't, you know, want it to be in care of you." So I sat on the floor, and I was trying to be a teacher, not a mom, and I was like, "Sit up straight," you know. And they would ask a question, and they're like, "So Peyton, why do you think you're a good candidate for this program?" And I would say, "You're self-motivated." And, you know, she would say, I work really, really hard. So after the Zoom, I was like, Peyton, why didn't you say you were so self-motivated? And she's like, Mama, I'm not 32 years old. I'm only
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
so I felt
Look
so
at this. She
bad.
thought about that. She was like, I would not normally say that, so I'm not going to say it now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I felt so bad. I'm like, I should have started with the positive like you do in school. I mean, we're trained that way. You start with the positive, you know, and then you
Yeah.
end with the negative. But why didn't I think about that with my own child, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
That was some of the struggles I've been having with teaching is, you know, I'm not quick to say, well, that's a really good try, but let's do it, you know, like you said, do a positive and then try to,
Right.
you know, reinforce the lesson. But
And it's so crazy because and when we were talking earlier how they're different.
Mhm.
It's even sort of like as a teacher and a mother, I'm different too, because like my children at home, they're like, Mama, are you this mean at school? like, like, are you really? And my students, they're like, Miss Daniel, you're so sweet, or you know, but when I'm here, it's like I just do it, you know, and I think it's because as parents, we expect so high of them and we see them day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's a struggle balancing parenting and teaching.
For sure. So have you received any sort of information moving forward, what next school year could look like or what they're preparing for?
No, the only thing that they have, you know, they've said, and our principal, she'll even send emails on Fridays. And the beginning of it is change because that's our new word. She's like, guys, when I send you an email, it's literally, I've only known it for maybe 24 hours.
Right.
And honestly, it's half people believe, you know, half things. I have had an administrator say, you know, I think we should really prepare that, you know, we're not going to come back until September. And then I've had some, you know, teachers say, oh, we'll go back in August, but it'll be like maybe students A through D come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and students E through, and I'm like, how is that going to work? So,
Yeah.
and I think the unknown is what's killing all of us.
It is. I'm a planner and I just want to know what to expect and the fact that we don't. And it is changing
Right.
daily,
Yeah,
hourly. It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard because we all have plans and things that, you know, we need to prepare for and not knowing.
That's like Tia's whole world.
I know. That's why I'm quiet. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's more to look into it because, and I mean, not to get on, you know, a depressing note, but it's reality. We have some students that school is their safe haven, you know, that's not only their safe haven, but that's where they eat. And I don't feel like as a teacher that I don't think that we could go much past September. I mean, I know that we're still feeding, you know, weekly, the county does things, and I know there's pantries and stuff like that. But I mean, we don't realize, oh, school's closed, you know, it's more to some
than that.
than just, well, even parents, because some parents are not able to work,
Right.
you know, and so it's, yeah. Wow.
Right. I mean, even with things slowly opening up in Georgia, whether or not you think that they should, like only so many people could even do that because they can't take their kids to childcare,
Right.
you
Right.
know, nor should they, you know, I mean, like it's crazy how much our lives really revolve around the school system. You know, even if you don't have kids, I mean, everything changes. Everybody knows the difference when school is in and when school is out, just from traffic, you know, so.
Absolutely. Well, even, I mean, like I can't even take my kids to see their grandparents because I have a grandmother that's in her 80s living with my parents. So they're having to social distance. So it's not even like, okay, I'm going to go work for a few hours and drop you off at grandma's. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes that's, not an option right now. So,
Yeah. Who could have ever imagined something that was so far reaching?
I know.
But what you just said about the families and children that we don't have much, that's just a tapped in place right there. And I know what the Atlanta Food Community Bank and other food pantries are doing something, but you're right, like right after September, what if you guys don't open? What's going to happen with these children? What's going to happen with these families? I know that there was one young woman, she created an initiative, but this is for hospitals. So I wonder if someone else can create an initiative for families in need, children in need during a time, and just making sure that the food will continue to go to these families. Because I know it's a humbling moment for someone to stand up and saying, hey, like, I don't have much right now. I personally don't know, but I can just see it when I'm watching the news, and I'm just like, man, how could you just speak up and just saying, I don't have this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, our school, and it's not just our school, it's the county, but our school is a host. But I believe it's Thursday night. But anyway, it's once a week, and they do hot meals, and we do it's called like blessings in a bag. And they get a bag, and there's no questions asked. Like, you just come and you get the bag, and there's no questions. But
Is it food or is it like toiletries and stuff? Like
food,
food.
like once a week, it's the hot meals. But then they get, blessings in a bag. It's like the boxed food and canned goods and
Okay.
stuff like that. But even things like, not to go into detail, but I have a student that her home isn't her safe place. So being at school, that was her positive, and seeing, her teachers and getting a hug, on every single day, and that, and I'm like, I just want to be back.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
want to be that support system for them. And you can be digitally, but there's something you can't replicate digitally.
Right.
When you're physically with them. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even just that camaraderie of their fellow students and having that socialization of like their peers and all of that when they can't, it's not like summer break, we're out and you could just like meet up and hang out. You just can't do those things. And so trying to figure out, okay, how do you help them meet up digitally? That's, especially when they're younger, and it's not like if you have a high schooler, they could text their friends and, figure out some way of hopping on Zoom together. When they're in elementary school, that's really, it can be really hard to coordinate. So, I know my son, he's in 5th grade. So he's not only, this is he won't see his classmates from this class, but he's changing schools, and he's not going to be going to the same middle school as all of his classmates this year. So that all of a sudden was just like gone. And he's really good friends that he developed this year. So it's like, we're trying to figure out how can we keep him connected with those, because he really did make some friends really, really wants to keep up with. He still has friends from Ackworth that he remembers 4th grade and 3rd grade that he wants to keep up with. And
Right. Well, even when like my kids, they're like, oh mom, we only have one more week of school. And then they stopped and they're like, but nothing's gonna change. It's not like we can go to the mall and go shopping or go bowling, or I'm like, we might as well keep doing school.
Let's get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You just gotta
Let me
keep the
teach you some
practice.
6th grade.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
Yes, and that's another thing I feel I had to remind myself and let my son's teacher remind me of this, which was that I think there's a lot of anxiety right now for parents about what to expect for their kids next year, because okay, well, if we basically lost the last quarter of whatever grade they're in, how are they gonna, is this gonna be really hard for them starting the next grade? So middle school versus elementary is a big jump. And And I sort of already was feeling that, but it was so great to hear that sort of confirmation from his teacher that, listen, everybody is going through this. So every teacher next year knows that with the children they're receiving, they all miss that. And there's going to be like, it's not going to be a matter of, oh, you should already know this. It's okay. Where are we all at? And let's get where we need to go. And I just, I feel like as a parent, that's so like, okay, good, because you just don't want your kids to be left behind in any way.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And I mean, even as a teacher, just getting like, I know we shouldn't do during summer and all kids need a break, but like those bridge books, that you can get like bridging from 5th to 6th grade or something. I'm like, I mean, even that's a good idea, but you don't want to overwhelm them. But like you said, there's all gonna be gaps. I mean, if you're a target student or you're, on grade level, I mean, you're gonna have that much time without structure in school. I mean, you're bound to have forgotten something,
Right.
And I wonder how summer camps are gonna go, because I know a lot of parents rely on that too in the summer.
Well, I know Cobb County has said that if there were any camps in June, they haven't said anything about July yet, but if there's any camps for June, that it's now virtual. So, and there was a kindergarten camp. It's June 1st through the 4th, I think. And I'm like, could you imagine teaching kindergartners camp on Zoom?
No, that's not even that's almost kind of pointless, because it's
Yeah.
nowhere for the kid to go. That doesn't help the
And
parents.
who's gonna watch the children?
Right. So I said, I am not signing my kids up now this is just county. I don't know about like churches or daycares, but I'm like, I don't know if I would even,
I mean, it to me kind of depends on what the expected investment for something like that is. I do see a value in there being like if it's every day at 10 o'clock and there's a Zoom gathering or, whatever it is, or maybe like 2 or 3 times a day at different times, there's Zoom gatherings with the kids. I do see a value in that because, like I said, that socialization. And I mean, to watch Gabriel sit, he really does like to show up for his class Zoom and listen to the other kid, even if he doesn't necessarily want to share. He really listens intently about what everybody else is talking about, or if somebody does bring up something he gets excited about, that he wants to chime in. So I do like the idea of having some sort of engagement, even if it's on Zoom.
Yes.
But kind of depends on, I certainly don't want to be paying like the normal camp price for
Yeah.
that.
But we don't realize, I mean, like I knew that I was a social butterfly. I knew that. I am such a social person, but we don't realize how the physical and just being around people, like how that just emotionally, it just does something. So actually this week was the first time that my co-teacher and I did a Zoom where it was just, you talk, you do whatever, it wasn't educational, it wasn't learning. Like they asked me about my house, they were asking, about my kiddos, they were cutting up with me. And it was so nice. And I'm like, that had to have been good for them too,
Yeah. I mean, if you're just seeing the same people, your parent, your family, and your siblings every single day nonstop, and no other faces, it's really hard on the kids. It's hard on the parents. I mean, there's a couple of times I'm like, I'm just going out to drive and I'm just going to go, go see people walking, like, I just have to. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Can I just go pick up your medicine? Do you need me to pick up any medicine? I'll go through the drive-through. I just need to see something different than these. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So
I'm really happy that you were able to just take some time that we can celebrate you, Jessica, celebrate you and the many teachers out there, because it is Teachers Awareness Week. But I think we should be celebrating our teachers all the time, every day.
All the time. all the time for sure, but this is definitely, I mean, especially since personally you have taught my daughter and, continue to support and love on her, it's very, very much appreciated.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, thank you all as parents. I mean, yes, I do agree. And I mean, even as a teacher and a parent, I even tell my, kids teachers, I'm like, y'all see my kids more than I do throughout, the school year. And I'm like, I need to know, do you see this, this, and this? Because, you're right. We do have your babies, 75% of the time during school year. And that's why I tell them, I'm like, I'm your mom away from
Mom. That's so
Mom
true.
away from mom.
yes.
So true. And
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it does
teaching
mean-
is like parenting. I mean, you have to love what you do. It's not something that you do for the money or any investment. I mean, you literally do it from the heart. So
yeah, and you have to do it differently per kid because every kid's different.
absolutely. Yep,
So,
that is
yeah,
true.
just like parenting.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for
Yeah,
all you all do.
thank you.
Thank you so much for being on here with us tonight.
Yes, I had so much fun. Thank y'all. Thank
I know
you.
it's so interesting to hear. I think whether or not you have kids in school, I mean, it is an interesting point of view to hear like the teacher's experience and like how you feel about adjusting to all this and how things are going for you and just again, like just honoring your experience and honoring all the effort that you put into our kids, and to us as parents and supporting us when we're all freaking out about this right now. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into the Grace Period and hanging out with us tonight and supporting Jessica and all of our other amazing teachers across, really teachers across the world. This is, I like to think we are always appreciating our teachers. I hope we always are, but I know that, across the world, we have to be really feeling a very visceral appreciation for it now, having to be the teacher. So thank you so much. If you haven't yet, make sure you're showing the teachers of your kids some love this week and all the time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah. And don't forget, we'll be back Monday, right, ladies? Monday, 7 o'clock.
All right.
We'll be back, everybody.
We'll be back.
We had to take a mini grace period. So until next time, everyone, please continue to stay safe and enjoy your mini moments with your family. So until next time.